give me as brief as you can. Give me what your thoughts of 2024. Give me your recap. Give me like what's your greatest moment, like memory. What's your like in relation to the pod.
Yeah.
Specifically, I guess.
Think,
but like, give me your thoughts on 2024.
Yeah. I think 2024 has been a year that, like, I knew could happen in terms for our podcast, but I just like, it still feels so surreal to feel that. And like, I don't think people understand that, like, when we were reaching like 10,000, when we were reaching like 5,000, we were freaking out. Like, we were like, what the fuck? Like, people want it what? Like, when we reached these numbers, we were like, dog, we're getting up high. Like, how do we get there? Right. And so like, it felt like a fever dream a little bit, like being like,
also no ad money,
no way.
We haven't spent on paying for boosting,
and we're working on being more consistent with like actually posting podcasts, like by getting different equipment so that we can actually like do certain podcasts from 2 different cities, but like so we can actually start posting like weekly like we wanted to. But it's just so surreal to me that like enough people were garnering like support and being like, yo, we want to support you, like we want to do this. And it's like it doesn't feel real, because if you were to put 20,000 people in front of me right now, I'd be like,
shit breaks, yeah.
What?
I'd be too. I'd be like, what the fuck? Why
you like, what? I don't gotta work. What? See, like, what? 20,000 people is enough to fit like stadiums that we have here. Like, it's like that's a lot of fucking people, dog. Like.
Yeah, we're like 21,000 right
now. Like, so to me, like this that's a lot. Like, 20 people in front of me right now wanted to hear me talk. I'd be like, get away from me. Don't.
I'm doing a lecture in February, by the way.
Huh?
I'm doing a lecture in February, like we're there, so for like creators.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
Anyway, that's separately.
But like, I'm very grateful for this year. I think this year the highlight was reaching over the 10K mark. Like, I don't think people understand just like how much the 10K mark was like significant for us as a podcast.
And then we just fucking
because it just kept going after that. And so like we always knew that we wanted to reach it, and we were like, well, once we reach the 10K, like we're getting there, like that's what we want to hit. And we've just seen constant growth, like for our Instagram, our TikTok, our YouTube, and like we just appreciate the support so much. Like, and I think that to me has been like one of the better experiences. Like, I remember like specifically being at work and being like, it says K. There's a K. They're not counting. You can't see the numbers no more. Like, it's just 10K. It's now 11. It's 12. It's 13. Like, it just kept going, and I was like, when is it gonna stop? Like, what's going on? Don't let it stop.
Hopefully never.
Like, and I was like, don't let it stop. Like, it was just like such an exciting moment. And like I think from there, we've just had this like amazing opportunities just start coming up. We've been meeting a lot more people. There's a lot of people that like I'm waiting to meet that like just haven't met them, and they've like met you and whatnot, and they're really big supporters of the podcast. I think overall that's been like the best thing. Like, I think that the sucky parts have been not being able to film as much as we would like to, just because things changed this year. Yeah. But I think that the best part has just been like understanding that there's like we're garnering support and we're gaining traction. Like, the strides are bigger. They're it just, all the things that we've been wanting to do are just starting to feel a little closer. Like, they're just getting closer inch by inch. These like small projects that we want to do, these things that we're like, oh my God, like obviously next year, like there's just going to be a lot more like planning and dedication to certain things. That we just like weren't really sure how we could do this year, but now we're a little bit more like, our feet are more steady on the ground, and we can understand like what it is that we're going to be doing. I'm excited. Like, I'm excited because like I also didn't think like me having my partner, and this is the first year that me and him are together. He's so supportive about this. Like, he's just like, do you want me to help you film? Like, do you want me to, like, cause he's into it too. Like, he's really big into filming. He's big into like vlogging, like talking, like this stuff like that. So he's just like, he likes this. So he really enjoys the production side of it all. And I'm like, I don't enjoy the production side of it all. Like, I like sitting here and talking to you, but I don't like any of this. Like, I don't know what any of this is. I don't understand it. What have you on? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and so
I should be a guest.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
You guys can talk about, I think that's something that we want to do next year, right? Is like girls
Yeah.
girls,
Okay.
and guys, like still having the conversations that you and I have, but also having the opportunity to have instances where it's just men and just women talking.
So my recap, so I'll get to that in a little bit. So like my recap is that 2024 has been such a crazy year. Like almost to the day. I moved to Austin.
Yes.
Super scary.
Yes.
Because like we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know how we're gonna try to keep this going. Are we gonna change how things are going? Like there was a lot of uncertainty. We were excited, but there was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of also uncertainty on our personal lives, financially, and like all this stuff, trying to get everything going. So it's been like really volatile. However, what I will say is that it has been incredibly surprising and incredibly heartwarming to see how much growth we've been able to get. And I'm choosing to look at this from like a super positive perspective because it really means a lot to me. But crossing the 10K mark was a big deal. Once we crossed a certain threshold and people were looking, I upped like quality of like Instagram. I upped like, because I felt like it was necessary. But then I also realized a lot of things that came afterwards. I think like really choosing to capitalize on that growth was really important, and it really paid out in the long run, because I got to meet a whole bunch of people out there. The simple fact that like a big struggle for me this year was like, how can I keep this going? I don't necessarily want it to be just me in front of a camera. I want the dynamic that we've kind of established, and
I think we figured that out this year.
Yeah, and then like reaching out to people, trying to get people to really be part of like to have conversations with us. I think after hitting like the 15,000 mark on Instagram, it became really easy for people to be like, okay, I'll consider it. Like this is like a thing, right? But then it also became really great meeting meeting people that really didn't know the vision at first, had their own goals and plans, and now we collaborate in a way where it doesn't feel predatory, or doesn't feel like we're trying to like capitalize on like it's just because you have the following and this, and like it just feels like genuine friendships have materialized. So I think that has been like the biggest. This year's been crazy, from like the summer growth to the Trump getting elected to the election year. Like it's been kind of insane. But like in that entire process, like I want to give like a huge thank you and a huge shout out to everybody that we've been able to essentially shoot with. Like we've been able to, shout out to Aaron over there in San Marcos that, we did an episode here. We've done 2 over there. Like shout out to Daniel Hinojosa at Lyft ATX. Like that episode was really cool, having everybody just in the background working out while him and I are talking shit. Hopefully we'll do more work together soon. Shout out to Steve Bolger, fashion photographer here. In Austin, where him and I are getting together, and we're, putting a lot of effort into trying to, build some more community, which you'll get to hear more about soon. So shout out to you. The Cuídate girls, Alondra, Cynthia, like you guys were such a... It happened at that mixer that we got invited to. I went by myself. Like it was predominantly like, makeup influencers and this and that. So just being able to cultivate that friendship. Now we're in talks to collaborate even more. The clothing line with them. Like it's just it feels so fruitful. So you guys are incredible. Shout out to Cuídate and your brand and everything that you guys stand for. Shout out to Miguel at Taquero Vaquero. Like that entire experience was really good. That connection was really good. Shout out to Jose Ralat, the top 50 tacos in Houston. That conversation was really, in Texas. That conversation was really great. Every single person that I just mentioned, I never thought that I would be able to sit in front of, around them and have a conversation. And the fact that they were willing to do it without any gain on their part, like just sitting down. Obviously they see the passion, obviously they like our stuff, like being able to have those conversations was a real eye-opening experience for me, that okay, the Degenerates could be much more than what we originally intended.
Yeah.
We were intending it to be more family oriented, more Hispanic, more our perspective, more Houston based. But like the fact that over this year I can point to multiple episodes of us having conversations with people, or me having conversations with people in different settings. The conversations are great. The topics are great, and people really like it. People enjoy being on camera. People enjoy our brand and what we do. That has been so enlightening for me, because now it really opens up my creative eye to see like, oh, I wonder if we can do this now. Like now I think 2024 is the year where I realize that I shouldn't limit the idea of what this can be.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's something that because I haven't met a lot of these people. Like I haven't, they know of me, but I haven't met them just yet. And I feel like that's something that, like, knowing that we have garnered support with other people, allows me to also understand that, like, all of these ideas that I've had, like, we can keep pushing them. Like, we can keep pushing more than just shit talking, or like just talking here with you and I, or just having casual conversations. Like, because the reality of it is like the podcast was founded on just you and I having conversations about things, about the world, and people like the fact that we're siblings and that we're not just strangers who met and were friends and became friends. Like, there will never be a situation, I feel, where you and I will hit a point where we're like, I can't talk to you anymore. Like, there's just no way. Like, I don't think so. I think that we are understanding and respectful of the fact that, like, we have difference of opinions, but it will never be that deep for us to be like, no, like, let's sever the tie. But that's not the case for people who are friends. Like the Horrible Decisions girls and like Joe Budden, like all those people, like, they're just people that you meet, that you are become acquainted with, but there is no like deep blood loyalty there. So I mean,
even call her daddy, like fucking. What's the girl? What's that girl's name? Alex.
Yeah.
Like her departure from.
See, the thing is, like all of them, all of them, like they separated, and so like this concept that you and I, have like garnered support through these like people, and garnered support through all these other establishments and whatnot, and we are super grateful for everything that like they've been willing to like share with us, and like us share on the pod, and us share with the Degenerate family. But I think like understanding and like realizing that like people just want to see us talk, dog. Like, they just want to see us like they genuinely are okay with just seeing two siblings just talk.
And I think
about some mad shit. And when you told me that there's people who are like, yo, I really fuck with your sister, and I'm like, excuse me, like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then like that there's people that are like, and you showed me like messages of people being like, but like her energy and like her thing, and I'm like, but bro, what do you mean? Because to me personally, every time we're having like conversations here, you always be having good shit to say. Like, I feel like you'd be having like real like intellectual, deeply thought out things, and
I go back and forth. Sometimes I'll be on my fuck shit, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to.
And I don't feel like I do a lot of the like intellectual bits. I feel like I'm just very much like just reacting to you. Like, there's just like a lot of reaction here, and like it baffles me how people are like,
still,
I fuck with it. Like, I fuck with that, and I'm like, well, that's cool. Like, that's.
I think 100% 2024 is the year that I realized that I shouldn't put any limitations on what this can be. So now my brain is starting to think about like everything that it actually could be. So now I'm really excited to at least put it out there that like I'm trying to work on getting like these Anthony Bourdain style like conversations with like restaurants and local street vendors, and like, you know, just in general. La Pulga, like shit like that, where I'm like, okay,
now
like
we need a vlog at the Pulga.
Or just do a podcast at the Pulga. Imagine like everybody's going back, but we're at the Pulga, like it'd be fucking fire, dude. But anyway, like having a lot of these conversations where we can really push the limit. Yeah. Obviously, like continue to have collaborators. Obviously, like change the dynamic. I'd like, you know, I don't think that this dynamic is ever gonna go away. Like this guy-girl dynamic that I originally was like really striving for. So we're gonna always have that. But now I'm thinking like, man, like let's have, you know, the Degenerates, but like an episode where it's just for the girls, and like an episode where it's just guys talking, and then maybe all of us together at one point. Like I know that we floated that around at the beginning, and I was like, no, like. For now, let's just keep it like this. But I think now we're at the point where
I think we've established the strength between you and I, which is what I meant. Like, people have established like, oh, this is like the core. Yeah. Like the core of it is here, but you can expand it. Like there's still layers to it, and it doesn't have to be one or the other, but like the core is still fine.
And I think that I'm starting to change it into a way where it doesn't necessarily have to be podcast form.
Yeah.
Now we could do like, conversations with artists. Now we can do deep dives. Now we can do like highlights of like, let's highlight this person specifically, create like a documentary style thing for them, but put it like, in the same way that like Wired or like, they have these like expose, whatever, things like that. I originally wanted to do Words That Keep Me Company on my separate channel, but then I was like, man, who knows? Like maybe people will gravitate. Maybe we could do. I want to keep Identity Crisis going. Identity Crisis can change into like a more experience based. So I'm not limiting it anymore.
It can be as fluid as it needs to be.
I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
And just in general, like I think I'm excited for the new year to see like what else is gonna happen in 2025 in terms of the kind of access that we get, the kind of growth that happens, the kind of interviews or the kind of sit down conversations that we're going to have with people. I think like we're starting to get to the point where the first dominoes are hitting to where this can, we can really start to branch out and do a lot with it. And I'm really, really, really excited about that. We also realize that like our narrative short story form really hit. So like now we're putting a lot of effort into some more of those stories, and like now we're starting to collaborate on it. So I just think in general, 2024 was it was a scary year at the beginning because there was a lot of change.
Yeah.
But I think 2024 has proved to be the year of growth and the year where
I think every year we've had as a podcast, there's been something that tweaks it. That's like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, what are we supposed to do after this? But it has seemingly also meant like we've kept increasing, like we've kept getting better, through loss, through, difficulties, changes, like change in environment, change in dynamic, change in everything. Like there has been this like understanding that it just keeps getting better. Like every year we learn more. Every year we learn more about the way that we want to do things, the way that we want to be represented on the online presence. Yeah. Like there's just a lot of things, and I think this year was definitely. I mean, it's one for the books, but I know 2025 is going to be better.
It's going to be great. Also with the growth, it's crazy because with the growth, so many more haters.
Oh yeah,
like bro, and like it's so funny. I'm gonna choose to look at this in a positive way. Like I obviously like there's people that hate on our stuff, whether it's politics or this or that or blah blah blah, and I clown them online and like I almost try to make like a hater of the month kind of thing. But like I was like, nah, I don't know if I want to do that. But regardless, like even if you're out there and you're hating, like I really appreciate you because you took your time out of your day to be angry or whatever, and like to engage when you could have just not done anything. So in my mind, I'm having like a out of body experience also because I'm looking at this hate and I'm like, yo, bro, like why you hating like that? But then at the same time, I'm also looking at it and I'd be like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane that people are taking their time out of the day to tell me that they don't agree with me or that they don't like me and it just makes me feel like to your point, I'm not that important. I'm nobody, right?
Yeah.
But then it reminds me like, not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to fuck with you like that. But I have to, in some way, shape, or form, be appreciative of the fact that, like...
somebody's still giving you the time of day.
Somebody's giving me some attention. And, like, I know we don't agree with you like completely. And I know that I might have shit-talked or, like, said something about you. But I genuinely, I want people to really hear this. I genuinely... am appreciative of the fact that you guys took the time to even look at our stuff, whether you fuck with it or not. And I really, really, really want everybody to do well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't met, like, out of all the people that have hated on me, that have talked shit on me on the comment section, that have talked shit, like, I remember all of you guys, and I might not engage with you, and it might have been a tense conversation, but, like, I want everybody to do well. Of course. I do not think that just because you hated on me, I'm like, I don't want you to do well. Like, no. A lot of the conversations about politics, a lot of the conversations revolving around hot topics, things like that, all of them all of my perspective really revolve around the idea that I want everybody to do as well as possible. And I just believe in that this way might be a little bit better. But under no circumstance have I ever thought that I want to devalue people or I want to make people feel less than this and that. Like, even if you're hating on me and that's your goal, I just need everybody to know that I want everyone to do as well as possible. I want everybody to have the year that they need, the year that they want, the year of growth. I want everybody to get closer to their goals and their dreams.
Yeah.
I want people to be okay. I don't want people to suffer. I don't want people in pain. I like really, really feel that to my core.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be in a lot of ways the mission statement of what we're trying to do and build community.
Keeping on that, and actually it's a thought that I thought of right now. When we first started Degenerates, what was it? 3 years ago now?
3 years ago.
It was in 2021.
Yeah.
It was already after pandemic. Yeah. I remember we went to Rodeo Goat and we sat there and we were eating a burger. And we were like, well, what are we trying to do? Like, I remember I still have the notebook where we wrote this down. And it was, well, we want us to be generous. And we want to be degenerates. So like something that I hope we get to do next year. And with y'all's help, we will be able to do so. And all we need is your support. We don't even need anything extra.
Yeah, just a share.
It's just a share, and support, right? And it's the hope that next year we can do more charitable things. Like, because we really do believe in the generous part.
Yeah.
Like, to being... And spreading generosity in our neighborhood, in our community. If you resonate with any of the stuff that we've ever spoken about, with, living in underprivileged communities and schools and stuff like that, we hope that like maybe during next year, during back to school season, we can donate like school supplies to schools in our area. Yeah. Donate school supplies to schools and highlight
student athletes, valedictorians,
yes,
Hispanic, like highlighting all these, like that has always been part of our mission statement.
We also have like, because this is a media production company, so like we also have the opportunity to like spread kindness and spread generosity through the media that we produce and through the things. So if you want to like, if I don't know, maybe this idea of like, you have somebody that you're like, I want to gift this to somebody that I know. And I love the way that you guys present yourselves. And I would love to have like the opportunity to gift somebody, the opportunity for y'all to like shoot like
whatever, yeah,
their graduation and a little mini documentary, like something that you can give to them that allows them to feel like, they're like what they went through was an important thing for you, and like we can, offer things like during Christmas, like a toy run or like stuff like that, like toy drive, like anything, things like that, where we can use the generosity that you guys have given to us throughout the year to give back to the people. Cause this is really what we were trying to do. Like we were, the reason why you called it Degenerates was because you very specifically for the kind of company that we are, that we wanted to have a like philanthropist side. We wanted to have a charitable arm. Yeah, we wanted to have a charitable arm, and we always said the bigger we get, the more we get to give, because that's how we were raised. Like it was very much under that like pretense of like, the more you have, the more you're able to give to people. Like, and
I mean, I wanted to get to the point, to be honest, like I wanted to get to the point where we are big enough that we can start our own nonprofit,
yes.
where we can start our own scholarship funds for
underprivileged kids. Yes,
where we can start a scholarship for athletes, or
yes,
we can start a like
artists,
artists, like
supporting writers, supporting anything.
I'd like to have on the move media and the Degenerates as like obviously like we want to make money, we want to be successful,
mm-hmm,
but I also want to have a side of it that we pour ourselves into, where we are really putting our money where our mouth is and giving back and actually leading by example, in the sense that like we're not just talking about our neighborhood as if like we're distant. No.
No.
Like we want better for people.
Yeah. We want better for the
our
neighborhood.
people.
Yeah, we want better for our
where
people.
we're from. We want better from where, you know
And
what I
I
mean?
think I think that is an understanding that like a lot of the people who follow us understand. Like I think people from LA, Chicago, New York, all of the bigger cities that like we have like a lot of followers, and you grew up the same way we grew up. We all grew up in these like certain environments that all of us have like these really distinct ideas of like tamales whenever they're being made, or pupusas or whatever. Like you might not be Mexican, but you can still resonate with the Hispanic experience of like, oh, and then we would go play soccer, and then we would go do this, and then we would walk home, and we would do this, and you know the bus was always everybody got to get picked up super early because the school's far, like things like that. Like you can all resonate with the same things that we do, and we hope that you feel the same way that we do whenever we say that we want to give back to the community. Like we hope that you want to give back to your community just as much as we want to give back to ours. 100%. So we hope that through your support that costs you nothing, it doesn't ever have to cost you anything, to just support us and promote us and just, you know, be there and allow us to have a space to talk in, that you understand that we want to put that to good use. Like we want to put your support to good use, so you're aware that you're supporting people who support the same causes you do, who support the same things that you know you wish you had. Yeah, that means something to you. So like, yeah, maybe next year we get to donate a bunch of toys to Pancho Clos. You know what I mean? Maybe
we get to be part of it.
We get to be a part of it. Maybe we get to
that'd be a full circle moment too. That'd be crazy.
You know, like maybe we get to like maybe this is like our manifestation board, right? We're just gonna say it out loud
maybe
for
that's
all
what
y'all.
this is. Maybe that's what this is right now.
For the New Year's, right? Where like maybe we get to do that. Maybe we get to hold an event at Ripley House where we get to like just have kids, you know, pick out their toys. Like, no, because we were the kids that our parents had to bring us.
Look, here's a goal. We talked about politics this year also because we believe that like you have to be informed as your civic duty as a citizen is to be informed. Shit, I'd like for us to get big enough to where like politicians are asking to be on, and I'm like, no, let's do a town hall.
Yeah.
We will film and we will get a town hall going for your constituents. Fuck talking to me. Talk to the people.
Talk to the people that matter.
If you're gonna use me as a way to get somebody to tell you to vote for you, I'm not gonna do that. But I will set up a way for the people that fuck with me to show up somewhere so that you can talk to them. You convince them. Fuck I gotta do. You know what I mean? So anyway.
Yeah. I feel like there's just a lot of things that we can do, and like that's what I hope that. That's what I want you guys to understand, that the bigger our platform gets, that's what you guys, this is who you're giving your time and attention and money to. Yep. Like, this is who you're giving it to. It's the people who want to give back to, like, we were never in this to be like, and we were just talking about it, like being like ethical, ethical rich people. Like we're well aware, because we grew up somewhere where we understood that like you don't need a lot to be happy, dog. Like we've had this conversation with mom and dad where they're like, we weren't poor, and we're like, you're right, we were not poor. Like, we were never poor of mind. We were poor in mind. We were never poor of mind. Like we were always happy. We always had what we needed, and it was just the life that we had. Like there was nothing bad about that, you know. And it might have not been the life that we wanted at the time, but it's the life that we're grateful we had, you know. And so this is the whole point of us having this conversation at the end of the year with you guys, is to understand, or hope that you guys understand, that we want to represent something bigger than just us, and that will always be bigger than just us. Like this is. Yes, you're giving us platform, and yes, you're giving us the opportunity to talk to people, to spread messages and spread words and whatnot. But you're also giving a platform to people who just want our communities to do better. Like that's just what we want. And the communities that we belong to are multiple communities. They're Hispanic community, the women community, the like artist community, Houstonian community, the everything. Like like there is all of these different communities that we hope to pour into, because you guys have poured so much out. Like the communities have poured so much out for us, and we never gave back growing up to it. And now that we have the opportunity to like grow up in this environment and do better, we want you guys to be a part of it too. Sure. You know? Yeah. On that note, help us out. Help us out by liking, sharing, subscribing. Anything will go a long way. Follow us on all our social media. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That's going to be a really, 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 really big factor. Let's try to get to 1,000 this year. What number are we at?
We're at like 600.
Ooh, that's so
Which
close.
YouTube is hard. We're at like 21,000 on Instagram, about 6,000 on TikTok.
That's so close.
So growth. Please help us out so that we can kind of get
We'd appreciate
get
that.
our dreams out. Yeah. But in general, until next time, peace.